All right, let's get started, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know this is the last day of the conference, and sometimes dragging yourself to the educational sessions after a couple of long nights can be tough, but I'm glad you're all here, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready to learn. Today we're going to be talking about the future of affiliate marketing, and we have an all-star panel to discuss that. They're all visionaries and hand-selected by the Affiliate Summit staff to share their wisdom with us and give us some great insights as to what to expect for the future. We'll have each one of them do a very brief introduction of themselves, and they will also share their Twitter handle. So if you are in the mood to live tweet anything profound you learned today, please feel free to do so. Use their Twitter handle if it's a specific person that you are quoting, and of course use the hashtag ASW13, which is the Affiliate Summit hashtag. One other point of business, if you do have questions, and we hope you do, we want this to be a very interactive session. We have some kind of pre-planned questions and topics that we're going to address, but we do definitely want to open this up and have it be very interactive and make sure that we're addressing the topics and questions that you have about the future. So if you do have questions, feel free to ask them at any time during the session. You don't need to wait till the end. However, if you do have a question, what we ask you to do is to make your way to the microphone there in the aisleway and ask your question into the microphone. Don't hesitate to do a little self-promotion when you ask your question. Share your name and your company, and if you'd like your Twitter handle and or URL. Don't share an entire commercial, but at least share that much, because you never know who's in the room who might be able to do some business with you. So let's use it as a little bit of a networking opportunity as well. So without further ado, we will introduce our panelists, or actually have our panelists introduce themselves, and we will start with Peter Hamilton, the CEO of HasOffers. Peter?
Hello, thank you for making it on this last day of the summit. This is a pretty awesome turnout, so thanks. HasOffers is a performance tracking as a service. Basically, you can create your own affiliate program, work with your publishing partners however you want, and we're not a network. We don't have a network effect. We don't have an exchange. We don't have anything that sort of competes with your business. The whole purpose is that this is your white label tracking solution to work with affiliates and partners the way you choose, and set it up however you like.
And do you have a Twitter handle?
At Peter Hamilton.
Peter Hamilton.
Yeah,
all right,
you
great.
can also tweet at HasOffers if you really want.
Thank you very much. And next we have Oliver Roup, who is the CEO of VigLink.
Hi. VigLink is a content monetization company. We basically help publishers be really great affiliates. So we found early on in the company that if you looked, publishers had great content that drove users to read about products, and they either weren't linking to appropriate offers, or they were linking and not sort of correctly using the affiliate network. We found the affiliate network's really tough to use. And so VigLink is automated technology that lets publishers be great affiliates without doing any work. And we can do all sorts of things that human beings can't do, like treat your geographically different traffic differently. My Twitter handle is at OROUP.
OROUP?
That's OROUP, my last name.
All right, fantastic. And next is Jonathan Mendez, the CEO of Yieldbot. Jonathan?
Thanks. Great to be here. So Yieldbot is a technology that creates a marketplace where performance advertisers can buy keywords and real-time intent on premium publishers. So basically buy exactly the same way you buy search and match in real time across our wonderful publisher base. I've been involved in affiliate space since '98 when I founded an e-commerce site and did that for 6 years, all the way back to Be Free and CJ days. So been watching this industry for a long time. Never forget the day I had 40,000 affiliates and woke up, and then the next day I had 13,000, and I wondered what happened. And never really did get an answer from CJ about that one. Anyways, great to be here.
Jonathan, do you have a Twitter handle?
Oh, yeah, at Jonathan Mendez, JONATHAN, or at Yieldbot.
at Jonathan Mendez or at Yieldbot. And I experienced something similar way back when I went from 27,000 affiliates down to about 15 as well. This was about 2002, 2003 maybe, I think. Yeah.
We were before that, but yeah.
Yeah, crazy days. Fantastic. And last but certainly not least, we have Ben Kiblinger, and Ben is the president of Coull. Ben?
Thank you for having me here. I'm really pleased to be speaking in front of such an entrepreneurial group. I got my start in affiliate marketing back in 1999, working for Commission Junction as one of the early employees there. And at that time, video did really not have a place in affiliate marketing, but it was something that I latched onto as a dream that someday video would have a place in affiliate marketing, and that our content would become a lot richer, and we'd be able to do something special for internet users. So that's what we have today. From that early start, I worked as an advertiser and then worked as an agency, and now as Coull, we're able to bring an opportunity for everybody who touches video in some way to start monetizing it.
Great, Ben. Do you have a Twitter handle?
Yes, it's at WebGiant.
At what?
WebGiant.
WebGiant. Okay.
I was feeling very bold that day.
There you go. And my name is Marty M. Fahncke, and I am the Director of Strategic Aggregation Marketing for Gragg Advertising. We are a direct response lead gen agency. I have been involved in the affiliate marketing space also since 1999. Seems like that was a pivotal year. And have been deeply involved in teaching people about affiliate marketing as well, speaking at some of the earliest conference, and this is my 9th year as a panelist or moderator for Affiliate Summit. So I'm really excited to be welcomed back, and hopefully we'll be able to share some great insight for you. My Twitter handle is at Fahncke, that's F-A-W-N-K-E-Y. And with that, we will get, and quite a few of you just came in a little bit late, so I'll just touch on a couple of things very quickly. First of all, if you do have questions, we encourage you to ask them throughout the session. Please do not wait till the end. When you do come up to the microphone, ask your question there. Do not ask them from your seat. We are recording the session, and the audio will not pick up if you ask it from your seat. So please come to the microphone to ask your question, and don't hesitate to do a little virtual networking, sharing your name and a URL and Twitter handle when you ask your question. We're going to get started with a topic that I find very interesting, especially considering the longevity of many of the panelists here, which is the mainstreaming of the affiliate model. It wasn't that long ago that really very few people had a clue what affiliate marketing was, and I know when I would talk about it, I'd kind of get glazed looks from a lot of people, even people who should know what they were doing, or even were doing it and didn't know that's what it was called. But today it's definitely becoming more mainstream, and I'd love to hear about what you've seen in the past few years on that issue, and what you predict for the future as far as the mainstreaming of the affiliate model. And Oliver, that was a question that you had brought up, so we'll take it to you first, and then we'll go to the rest of the panelists.
Sure. I'm actually one of the relative newcomers to the industry. I started VigLink in 2009 and didn't really have a lot of involvement before then. And I think what we've seen over the last few years is we started pitching publishers who had sort of no involvement in affiliate marketing, no connection. And early on in the company, we really got frankly, pretty negative responses in terms of, isn't affiliate all about sort of diet pills and rebill offers and, and I don't want to conduct my business and scores. And we found over the last couple of years that has really turned around. So, some of the biggest, best known, sort of most corporately backed publisher groups in the world are, beating down our door. And I really think the whole industry is seeing a transformation from, what had been a semi-mom and pop operation. The biggest companies in the industry, they were multi-$100-million companies, but there were no real sort of titans. I think you're seeing, the sort of mainstreaming. When you see TV ads, just advertising websites that are basically affiliate publishers, that is a shift, and that had not happened a few years ago. We find that perhaps it's the deterioration of the display market, but really we're getting more and more attention and sort of becoming more and more central, and so changes come with that.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
Well, the idea of affiliate marketing is kind of age old. It's one person promoting another person and that being worth something. That's about it, right? I think, we went through a phase where the types of affiliate was, largely media buying, largely, folks that were getting traffic that could also be purchased by the advertiser, but the advertiser couldn't be bothered to do it. And I think that you're starting to see a shift in that pretty dramatically. A lot of the media buying is starting to happen internally. A lot of these advertisers and major corporations are hiring up some of the best affiliates out there and just making them a part of their staff, which is a pretty interesting shift. I think that what really drives affiliate marketing into the mainstream now is that advertisers of every shape and kind are demanding ROI. So they're demanding to see a return on an investment. The days of display are starting to shift. A lot of those giants are crumbling a little bit. And you're seeing this real demand for performance-based metrics, and to that extent, affiliates, publishers, anyone that works on a performance basis is already queued up and ready to go. They understand how the tracking needs to get in place. They understand what the campaigns should look like and how to move forward. So I really do think that is what's driving it more into the mainstream.
Any other thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, I'll just expand. From affiliate marketing from the beginning, the demand base was always there. The advertiser base was always there. Amazon is the classic example, and eBay, and even Google back in the day. I think through Beaver, you would get 2 cents per query that you were able to drive to Google. So there was always the advertiser base there. But to what Oliver said, now. The drop in revenue from display advertising has opened up the premium publishers and the larger publishers into this space, which is a dramatic shift, and that's a great thing for it. Realizing the nature of the web is about traffic, and that's the way it gets monetized is really new to these guys. They used to just sell page views and impressions. But getting them involved in traffic and in effect arbitrage of that traffic, and seeing the value that can be derived from it. I mean arbitrage in a good way, because you're delivering value to people, right? People are they're buying stuff. You're giving them relevant ads. That's really opened up this market tremendously, and I think that will continue to grow exponentially over the next few years.
Fantastic. Other thoughts on the topic?
Yes, something I see as being really big for the affiliate industry, having more support from large advertisers and conferences like this one, changing to have speakers from Ogilvy and Disney and Gap, as we had yesterday, talking about the multi-channel approach and where affiliate fits in. That's happening because analytics have gotten so much better, and advertisers have become so much more savvy about using multiple touch points to reach customers, and realizing they have to do it because customers are on multiple screens and are reachable in multiple ways, and they're shopping around. They're not just responding to one banner someplace or one email someplace and clicking through and buying. They're doing their comparison shopping, they're looking for deals, they're looking at reviews, and as they look at that data, affiliate has really risen up in terms of what's the real contribution, and when that real contribution is measured, then they see that it's something that they really need to have in order for their digital strategy to be complete.
That's great. Now, Peter, you had touched on a topic which was media channels and marketing channels, and Jonathan, you had actually put that as a topic you wanted to address. So let's jump over to that. What channels do you see as opportunity and growing in the future? And we'll start with Jonathan, and then we'll work our way this way.
Okay, I guess it depends what side you're looking at it. From the advertiser side, I think the largest growth in digital recently has been around has been in the automated programmatic buying space and display. So, and there's a lot of kind of bargains to be found there because you're dealing with massive amounts of inventory. I mean, that really anybody has access to. In fact, some of you may have heard of Facebook Exchange. I don't know how many of you actually do your programs on Facebook. But that's opened up now for retargeting. And in fact, retargeting gets to your point about the attribution mix, which I think was an incredibly important point. And the analytic nature of an understanding of those things. So I think, as a whole, there's just more inventory available and more places to get your ads if you're an advertiser in front of consumers than ever. And it's about understanding from an analytics standpoint what works and how you can understand the value of each of those pieces. So, but I would say single most biggest change is massive amounts of inventory in the display advertising space, programmatic and automated.
Very good. Oliver, thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say a shift we're seeing is a number of the advertisers we're talking to feel a little bit uncomfortable with the reliance on incentivized traffic, cashback, coupons, loyalty sites. Obviously that traffic's extremely valuable, represents a huge chunk of the industry, but I think we're starting to feel a bit like the car companies in the 90s. When you're basically paying people to buy your product, it's hard to come away. Gross revenue is easy to come by, but net becomes a lot tougher. And so we're definitely seeing a push from advertisers saying, can you find me full price paying customers? Not to the detriment of the incentivized channel, but certainly looking to augment it with, genuine enthusiasts, non sort of bargain hunters. And that's a big trend we're seeing.
Do you want to touch on it since you kind of brought the topic up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the absolute largest opportunity for getting hold of new traffic is on mobile, right? HasOffers we're doing clicks in the billions now, and about 30% of that traffic is mobile, and most of those offers are not mobile on our flagship product. Okay, so these are mobile users interacting with desktop offers, which isn't a great experience. But there's an incredible amount of traffic on mobile. It's insane. We looked at the traffic over the holidays, and it was a huge bump compared to previous years. We always see maybe a little bit of swell for certain people. This year, it was insane. People are sitting in airports waiting to go see their families, and they're just fumbling around, just buying random stuff, and it's amazing for us, So there's a massive opportunity, and if you don't think the rest of the world understands this, then you're crazy, because the ad networks, how many mobile ad networks popped up in the last year? And how many of them were funded by VCs? Okay, we're talking like $10 million on some ad network, right? This is like 10 years ago, and it's happening again. And it's because there is such a giant opportunity. And the difficulty is converting the user, engaging the user, figuring out what does a conversion funnel really look like? What is an effective advertisement on mobile? All of these things we're going to figure out. But the bottom line is that there's an incredible volume there. And if you're a media buyer now, you can start buying from these networks. And to his point, there are new RTBs that are coming up in that world as well. You have the next ages of the world that are aggregating a lot of this stuff. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Well, we know in 2012 that we finally crossed the smartphone threshold of more than 50% of the population who's carrying a smartphone. I'd be curious in this audience, if you have a smartphone, hold it up. I just want to see if it's a little more than 50%. Go ahead and hold up your smartphone. Wow, yeah, I'd say about 90, 95%.
If you don't have a smartphone,
I will not ask that question because those people would definitely not want to embarrass themselves, I'm sure. So
we have a trash can in the back for all feature phones. So just drop them off. We'll hand you a new phone.
Absolutely. What I think that tells us, though, is even though in the consumer space, mobile is in its earlier stages, if you are in the business-to-business space, the penetration of smartphones is substantially higher. And if you're not mobile, you're really wasting your time. I went to a site today to purchase something. They didn't have a mobile optimized site, and I'm not going to name the company, but this is a company that is ridiculous that they don't have a mobile optimized site. And you need to take a look at your sites and the sites that you're working with. you've got to have them. You've got to have them mobile optimized. It's 2013, so let's get there. Sorry, I did a little segue, but that's all. We're going to talk a little bit about mobile today. We're going to talk about video and a few other things. But thanks for bringing that up. Other thoughts on channels that we need to be paying attention to for the future from the panel?
Any channel that interacts with a mobile device is something that's really important for sure. And when we think about mobile, I know everybody knows that includes tablets, but it's something to keep in mind is just the huge number of tablet sales, completely record-breaking over the holiday season. It seems like every one of my kids' friends now has a Kindle Fire or a mini iPad, and now all of a sudden they have to deal with kids being on the web on their own small devices, and it introduces a lot of interesting new things. And if we step back for a moment and think about what created this big shift, it was really the iPhone, and then it was the iPad, or it was the iPad that came before the iPhone that was released after the iPhone, depending on how you look at it, and then everything else that came out after it. So why did people gravitate to those devices? It was all about user experience. And I see the biggest growth opportunity in the affiliate industry is to foster that demand for enhanced user experience through how we present our information, how we present our content, and how we present ads inside of that content. So that's one of our goals at Coull, and I know that goal is reflected across the other panelists here as well. Ads need to be less annoying, less interruptive. They need to be more contextual and more entertaining. People love to be entertained, and they view the ads as being a resource when they're in the right place at the right time.
I wanted to just comment on that real quick. I think this leisure discovery time that consumers are having on their iPad it's a completely new phenomenon. They don't have a purpose. They're just sitting there and playing with this device, and they don't have to be sitting at their chair and at their desk. And so the interactivity of that with the television, of course, coming very soon, is going to broaden the display space for advertising. It'll be interesting to see that come about.
Before we leave the topic of mobile, any other thoughts from the panelists that we should consider for the audience?
Well, I'd like to just add one thing, and it touches on mobile a little bit, but I should have mentioned it earlier, which is data. There's been an explosion of third-party data that's available now to advertisers and to affiliates to use in their campaigns and programs. So you're buying the data generally on a CPM basis. You're buying cookie pools if you're in display. Now there are data issues around mobile because it becomes very hard, and people are trying to tackle those in interesting ways. But this is something completely new, and so when we talk about channels and new capabilities and new tool sets to use to grow this business, the smartest marketers will be looking at using and buying third-party data, whether it's interest data, whether it's behavioral data, and applying those to their campaigns and using those as rules to target against. And it's important that I think, especially since it's such a competitive space, affiliate marketing, that it be brought to light.
It's very interesting you brought that. I had a breakfast meeting this morning with a data company who is here, and that was one of the biggest topics, because in the lead gen space we're doing, our target audience is probably 90% mobile penetration. They don't even have landlines. I mean, they're 20-somethings. And getting good quality mobile data is tough right now. It's getting better, but it's not like the old days of the phone companies with centralized records. And so good data is critical, and you need to be looking at where you're getting that and making sure that you're leveraging the data that is out there. So that's a great topic. From the audience, before we move on from mobile, any questions on that topic?
We probably want to talk more about mobile.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just make a very simple point. I just think that, the conventional wisdom that's been going around the industry is like, oh, mobile doesn't monetize that well, and, Facebook has a big problem because all their traffic's shifting to mobile and they can't monetize it. I think that is total crap. Like, that is not true. It's just we're earlier in the learning curve, and so there's a huge opportunity there. But there's no doubt in my mind that, years out, looking back and saying, oh, mobile doesn't monetize, the people who said that are going to look truly foolish.
In my 14 years in this business, I've heard that same thing about search, and I've heard that same thing about email, and I've heard that same thing about social. So, eventually it all monetizes. You just got to get smart about it. So.
And I was going to say that just for food for thought in mobile, the fastest growing budgets that we're seeing is absolutely in mobile games. They are just spending money like crazy people, and they they understand some of their funnel and some of it they don't, and some of them just don't care, and they're just going to spend because they're trying to get extreme mass user adoption. Because what can they do from there? They can cross promote to other games. So it's an amazing loyalty experience that they can create. With that said, they are experimenting with any traffic sources right now. So, the big mobile gaming companies, Kabam Games, Big Fish Games, Electronic Arts, these big studios out of Japan, Glue, they're all buying from the major ad networks, but they're also looking for direct publishing partners as well. So, if you can, start to develop some of those relationships, I think that, it's a great way to monetize. A lot of them are willing to pay for installs too, incentivize installs that are not even necessarily backing out to revenue. Sometimes it's really crazy. So be on the lookout for that in mobile.
Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about video. It's definitely it's been a game changer the last year or two, and I think it's only going to get bigger as we move on. We'll start with Ben. Why don't you tell us what do you see as the future of video as regard to affiliate marketing?
Oh, I of course see it as the central part of affiliate marketing.
You'll be handing out business cards after the session, right?
So, one of the things that was really interesting to learn as we were testing different iterations of Coull's interactive player, where you can link out from a video to a product, is that there's a far bigger opportunity putting links into existing publisher content than there is with taking polished, very high production quality advertiser videos and pushing those out. We just look about what's being watched on the internet. It's mostly publisher generated content, and so one of the biggest opportunities that we see is for publishers to make content that is rich, that's reviews a product, that provides information, that compares products, that shows how to do something. And a lot of these videos already exist, and then just drop a link into it. We're not the only people who do that, but that is one of the biggest opportunities, and we're representing the distribution side of that equation, in addition to just the technology. With mobile devices, video has become a really key ad unit for the advertisers that do want to make a big push for their own video, and we're seeing it very successful with games. As Peter said, a video about a game is really good at generating game downloads because people can see what it's like in action, and from an advertising perspective, that can be measured. How many plays of the videos were completed. So it's not just the front end impression. It's also how many plays were completed, and then there's data all in between on how far did somebody get through the video before they left. And now you can start making videos smarter because how engaging is this video as compared to another video. And then also with Coull, with adding interactive element, then you can measure the click from the video to the store. And with being able to measure that, now all of a sudden is this video just for brand awareness, or is this video generating traffic for my store as compared to a different video? And that's something that's really groundbreaking in the space. Instead of it being a big mystery as to, video and TV, it works. That's why the majority of advertising money is spent there today. But what's working? Now we have the answers to those questions through data, and that's something that's just super exciting.
Great feedback. Jonathan, video, your feedback.
Well, when I think of video, I think of YouTube. And I think that YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. And so, we have seen with our publishers over the last year, and some of them, it really depends on the vertical. But certainly as the sites skew younger and younger more and more, that the increase in traffic coming from YouTube has continued to rise. And some of these publishers, it is their second or third largest source of inbound traffic.
What verticals do you say is the strongest ones?
Young girls stuff.
Young girl stuff. Okay.
But you can.
So makeup, fashion,
Flat
pop
irons.
culture.
There's a lot of stuff to sell to young
I'm gonna
girls.
try and help you out of this.
Not the
Hold
other
your-
young girls.
Yes. Going to clarify
be
for you so
confused.
that you don't get arrested.
Yes. No. They have affiliate programs?
Oliver, what would you like to say about video?
So I think that when you think about the browser surface area, whether on a phone or at a desktop, to some extent it really is a zero-sum game. There is only so much room on the screen. Some of it is devoted to content, some of it is devoted to advertising. The difference between those is blurring. But I really think that smart publishers have started to understand, look, I can't make the screen bigger. I've probably hit diminishing returns in terms of how much advertising can I squeeze on screen at the expense of the content. And in fact, Google is explicitly punishing publishers today who have sort of too high a ratio of advertising to content. And so the publishers really have to start to think about, where can I derive revenue from areas that traditionally have been sort of off limit to advertising. Video is a great example. It is a huge, chunk of the surface area on the page, and if you can turn that into a revenue-bearing piece of surface area, fantastic. The display yield optimization is really running into diminishing returns. You can only squeeze so much more CPM out of your display ads, but video is just virgin territory. In a lot of cases, particularly the sort of user-generated or publisher-generated content. Advertisers historically have not gone there. We do a similar thing around text, the content of text, and so I think just when you look at your property, sort of mentally dividing up the surface area in terms of what is making me money and what is not, is a useful exercise to go through. And obviously you have to avoid sort of driving off your users in the process of trying to make money from them. But really thinking about what are the new areas I can go after that will create incremental return is a great exercise.
And I'll touch.
I was going to see if Jonathan wanted to jump back in or if he's just done here.
We did cut you off, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted him to regroup a little bit. But,
That's all right.
So, did you have some thoughts you wanted to finish, Jonathan?
No.
Okay, you're done. All right, no problem. Peter.
I was gonna, a minute ago I touched on all these ad networks that are popping up. Well, some of them have really, really zeroed in on video, as Ben said. But Ad Colony and Vungle being some of the really big ones. Ad Colony is crushing it. Got a big round from Insight Partners, and they're just doing incredible volumes. We're seeing them grow a lot. But even other ad networks like JumpTap are like starting to dabble in the game. So there is no doubt that is becoming, like, I think the next year or so is going to be a video heyday, where that's going to very much be the experience that advertisers are paying for. I do think there are a couple of challenges with it. One is the attention span of users. It's continuing to get shorter and shorter and shorter, and so a video advertisement today on the mobile device, it's acceptable to some extent, but we're going to reach a point where it is just too much of annoyance, and they get really really bothered by it. I think maybe the one way to keep that moving forward is relevance. The more relevant you can make that video to the actual experience that they're in, and the less disruptive you can make it, the more powerful it's going to be every time. You guys have watched YouTube, and that now they're hitting you with ads like ridiculously, and I like watch 1 out of 10 because it actually had something to do with what I was looking up in the first place, which is extremely impressive. you have something to add to that? No, okay, you just looked at me. Anyway.
Yeah, just in terms of YouTube monetization, the monetize tool that's on there, and the ability to link out, through YouTube, that's a big breakthrough. And I really encourage everybody to take full advantage of that and put product links into those YouTube videos. You could get product links from lots of places, including us. Yeah. But I think that to your point about those ads in the YouTube videos, when you choose to click monetize as opposed to choosing your own link out, then a lot of times really most of the times those ads are annoying because they're not relevant. So that's really the big issue. GamerTube came to us because they needed to monetize the video on their site, reviews of video games, and I was looking at it and said, okay, here's one for one of the presidential candidates. Here's another one for some dog food. This is clearly not working for them. It's not enriching the experience of their user, and if the user doesn't find the experience on the publisher site positive, then they'll find somewhere else to go.
Good feedback. Now, we're just a little over halfway through the session, and I want to make sure that if you came here with something specific that you're curious about or that you want to know about for the future of your business, please take the opportunity to ask questions. Just come up to the microphone and feel free to ask away. We have a ton of topics to cover, and we can talk the whole session, but I would like to make sure we're addressing the questions that you all had as well. And we have our first taker. Please state your name and your question.
Hi, I'm Melinda Fleming. Curated Coull is the website. My Twitter handle is I curated Coull because somebody else had curated Coull. So the question is to do with back to mobile. I apologize, I didn't jump up here sooner. So it's an online store that's a brand magazine, and I'm wondering how best do I, is mobile for me?
Is mobile for you. So you're sort of a brand magazine, you said, with an online store component.
Correct,
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's Curiously Cool, is that?
Curated Coull.
Oh, Curated
It's not
Coull.
even live yet. It goes live in March.
Curated Cool.
Yeah.
So what's the best mobile strategy for you is the
Correct.
question. Who'd like to jump in on that?
Well, I'd say first see what percentage of your traffic is mobile. And
Okay.
look in your analytics. And if
Okay.
you're getting a high percentage, then you should create some strategies around it. If there's not, you might want to spend your time elsewhere.
Okay.
Now, it's a new site, so you don't have traffic yet, right?
Well, no, I do. So I have a page that just is a welcome, and this is what we are, this is blah blah blah, this is what you're going to see in the magazine element. If you want to know when we go live, enter your name and your address. So because I'm already capturing those emails, I know they're not my friends, because I can see who it is, and I will assume people are organically finding me,
Right.
and organically entering. So there are metrics within my domain.
Well, I'll piggyback on what Jonathan said. Since you're a new site, what you need to look at is you know who your target audience is. You know who your site is for. You know the age that you're writing for. You know the gender, everything else. I would look up some market research and some stats and find out what is the penetration of mobile there. What are they using? The research is out there. You can know what how many people are using mobile in your target demographic and what they're using it for. That will answer how much focus you need to have there. I would suspect it's fairly high because it sounds like it's probably female, it's probably higher income, and I would suspect you have a pretty heavy mobile smartphone use, especially.
Well, I've rolled out the welcome, started the Twitter and the Facebook campaigns, and got a really good following on that, and so that's mobile. I know they're using it that way.
So can I jump in here?
Absolutely.
We work with a number of fashion sites, and I would say inevitably, yes, mobile is for you. I think the sites like Wanello and Polyvore, have seen dramatic upticks in traffic since they launched their mobile experience. I would say actually that fashion, female-focused fashion, is probably one of the strongest mobile categories we see. Automotive is another category we have. I wouldn't say it's as strong on mobile. The phenomena of women shopping, often late in the evening, from their living room or bedroom, is sort of a hugely emergent phenomena. The advertisers we talk to actually refer to it as drunken shopping, like it is a real sort of segment they talk about. iPad in bed with a glass of wine. And so I'd say yes, absolutely, you need to
Okay.
target mobile.
Okay, thank you.
Drunken shopping, huh?
In terms of getting some of that market data, a good way to do that with mobile or even not mobile, but you get some traffic that you pay for. Go ahead and just run a mobile pay-per-click search campaign for the words that you like. And by knowing what words those people are responding to, then it enables you to control how much traffic's coming in, and then be able to analyze that group of people in a way that's more effective than people who come in from other sources.
And I wouldn't jump to conclusions too quickly about that traffic, because odds are you need to work on the experience on mobile. So once you get them in there, then start testing the experience a bit, and if you really don't have any legs, then there might be a deeper issue.
3 months, 6 months, what do you think?
What do you mean?
The question was 3 months or 6 months with.
Like testing that data?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could do it, over a few weeks even, depending. It depends on how many people you're buying.
Great. Next question.
It's going to piggyback on hers. I'm Christy Trimmer, Dragonfly Tweet on Twitter, Orange Dragonfly blog. I create sites and have 7 blogs of my own. But you guys keep talking about mobile, but shouldn't you be suggesting them to build responsive sites?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because then they're not going
absolutely.
to have these issues of a mobile site if it's going to be compatible. I wouldn't even think anyone would want to build mobile and just go with responsive.
I absolutely agree. And I think I think probably this panel assumed that would be the direction.
Let me ask you a question. Does anyone in this room not know what a responsive site is? And don't be shy if you don't. Fantastic. Okay, good. Who would like to define a responsive site on our panel here?
Well, we have a responsive site. Basically, it's an HTML website. We use HTML5 and CSS3 to create an experience that is both looks nice on a mobile device as well on a desktop device as well as an iPad. So you can go to HasOffers.com and check it out on your phone now.
And you can also build it on WordPress.
WordPress
has
uses,
a responsive plugin.
Sure,
Right.
Yeah, it's HTML. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and WordPress has all of these sort of templates for how it might look on mobile as well, which is pretty nice. So it's actually serving a different page, a different CSS on mobile than it is on your desktop.
Yeah. So basically, a responsive site, it's smart enough to know what type of device the visitor's coming from, and it adapts the site regardless. It also is smart enough to know whether they're looking at it in a vertical or a horizontal plane, and will adapt the layout for that aspect as well. So when I believe we were all talking mobile site, this is in 2009, we probably would have been talking about a standalone mobile site, maybe even a .mobi. But today, I think we were all probably talking about responsive site, which basically means an adaptable site that does meet those needs. And again, there are tons and tons of sites out there that are not responsive, and it's shocking how many there are. So I'll qualify what I said earlier about having a mobile site, say it really should be a responsive site.
And
Thank you for that clarification.
The objective is to avoid the pinch and squeeze
Yes.
as much as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
And the hover.
Yeah, and the hover.
Absolutely. Next question.
Hi, David Perico, creditcardapplications.com. We have a complicated site, and initially we looked at porting it to a mobile application, and people said, this is a big job. Since then, we've discovered we have a lot of mobile traffic. It doesn't really convert. Is there sort of an easy strategy to have sort of just very stripped down landing pages and just forget replicating the full functionality?
You can certainly roll out sort of a sub-site, you can set up your web server to essentially serve a different page on mobile, which doesn't have the full functionality. I would probably recommend a link through to, the full site so that those who are prepared to do the pinch and squeeze and have something they need to get done on your site can do it. But if you think about the use case of what you're trying to achieve on mobile, maybe it's just collecting a sign up and sort of sending them an email. You can very easily build just a standalone mobile site, just for that scenario. I think you are sort of putting off the inevitable, though. I do think you are going to find yourself wanting to have a fully responsive site that's sort of usable on any device, and this is sort of a down payment on kicking that can a little further down the road, but you will eventually have to get there.
Are there obvious products for just building the stripped down version of the mobile site?
Well, I mean, WordPress and Wix and all these, site builders are great tools for doing that. Yeah.
Great question. Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name is Joshua Sloan from SloanTech.com. I'm a consultant for merchants and affiliates, and my question for the panel this morning is, for US-based affiliates and merchants that want to tap into the rapidly growing international market of traffic, do you have any solutions or suggestions you might offer for that non-English traffic? For example, maybe language localization overlays so that ads in non-English countries can land on an English site and experience some language localization?
Very cool question. Any thoughts from the panel?
So automated language localization, I have not seen a lot of. There certainly are services that you can essentially outsource the localization very cheaply and easily of your site. We do offer a something that I think meets your needs, not exactly localization, but many affiliate programs are set up with different offers or even different networks from different locales. So jcrew.com is a good example. US traffic, United Kingdom traffic has to be sent through a different affiliate program in order to be monetized. So if you're just doing sort of the old school thing where you hand paste a JCrew affiliate link into your site, you are literally throwing away the money from all the overseas traffic you get. At VigLink, we put a lot of effort into in general doing this, but we put special effort into iTunes, like really trying to do the right thing with iTunes clicks, because that has a special problem where often the product you link someone to is not even available in a different locale. So, Justin Bieber's album, that particular SKU is literally not for sale in Germany. You need the sort of German version. So we put a lot of effort into that, and we doubled the value of iTunes clicks when we rolled that software out. So, and we're seeing similar numbers in tests with other merchants. So I'd say if you are doing the old school sort of just linking to an affiliate program, you're throwing half your money away.
Yeah, that's an excellent point about the localization of ad serving and how meaningful that is. I think it's also important for advertisers to know that they don't have to translate every bit of their company. They don't have to translate 100% of all of their website and all of their product. In many cases, we found that if we started with just making the ad in the person's language, and then they click through to a landing page that was in English, then we still actually captured a lot more customers because they saw that, oh, okay, they spoke to me, and am I willing to do business in English or not? And of course, that's not a good way to do it, but it's a place to start. And if you see that you're getting a little bit of traction, then you get very, very quickly, you need to make that translated landing page and then go a few pages deeper. But then again, it doesn't have to be the whole site because fortunately we live in a world where most people who speak another language besides English are also speaking a second language, and most often it's English.
Well, and depending on what it is you provide, once they find themselves a customer of yours, will they have any help in their language or in their mother tongue? And what sort of customer retention is that going to create for you? What sort of loyalty, and then what sort of even potential bad press could that create for you in another locale? Another assumption I think people should be careful to make is that the ad in the person's native tongue is necessarily going to be the one they want to click on, especially if it's business-oriented stuff. We found in certain countries, especially in Europe, that our English ads actually perform quite well. So it's something you actually should try to test and not just roll out for the sake of rolling it out. I think Oliver's ability to kind of create these ads automatically is awesome. A lot from before that you were having to kind of use an ad manager tool of some kind, create different ads for everything, and then geo-target them and ad groups and things like that. And we have tools that do that, but it's very time intensive and it takes it's complicated. You have to spend a lot of time doing it, and you have to determine, like I said, that all of this is actually going to be worth it.
So one other little piece is that I once, when I was an advertiser, we almost lost our credit card processing. We were almost put out of business because we had a high percentage of chargebacks, on international credit cards, which is something that you get dings really quick on that. So, in terms of doing business in other languages in other countries, they're not going to want to pick up the phone and call a 1-800 number to talk to somebody in English about canceling. So it's very important when doing business internationally to make it really easy, for people to stop paying. It's very important.
Yep.
The panel gave you a lot of great information, but I want to make sure, did they answer the question that you were hoping to have answered?
Yeah, well, to a great degree. So you're not aware of any overlay type technologies for affiliates who want to promote a U.S. merchant that's not?
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to open that to the audience. Does anybody here know of any overlay technologies or kind of language adaption technologies that our audience member here should be aware of that you'd like to shout out maybe? Or did we just find a niche that we could all make $1 million on?
Create a slide deck, get to the valley, quick.
Good luck.
There you go.
Good luck,
All
everyone.
right, sounds like an opportunity to me. Next question.
Mine's pretty quick. Hi, my name is Edward Mendoza with PerspectiveSEO.com. I keep hearing so much talk in the summit about video promotion to get new leads. So for link building services, stuff that's not that visual, it's not a physical product, how would you guys recommend using video to?
So the question is, how do you use video for something that's not very visual? Mm-hmm. That's a great question.
Yeah, there's a great example of that that I came across a couple of months ago. A company called Picture Keeper that sells a little flash drive that you use for storing your photos on. It's a static product. It's like trying to sell this glass or something. You can't really do a video of the product, but what was immensely successful for them was having a video of somebody talking about the product, and yes, there was a visual of the product, but it's mostly an endorsement type of video spot. So for anything that doesn't lend itself to motion, then I would try and do an endorsement or a review style video.
Well, the core of marketing is storytelling, right? So there has to be some kind of story that even someone can talk about, I would assume. What do you have something kind of more specific we can?
Yeah,
like
I mean, I can do like.
Could you speak a little more into the microphone, please?
Yeah,
Thank
is that
you.
better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I can do like cartoon animations illustrating what the company does, but since so many of you guys have been talking about doing like weekly videos and constantly talking about a certain subject, but
So you're talking about business-to-business marketing right now?
Yeah, well.
So marketing for your business?
Yeah, marketing for
your
my
clients?
particular business because I do, link building. So
Sure.
a way of kind of generating traffic through video.
I'll say that Ben's suggestion, I think, is probably the most relevant for you, and that is really case studies and testimonials. Because for link building, you're right. You're not going to show, well, this is how we build the links. I've had a lot of campaigns where I've run where literally the entire campaign is just pure testimonials. Now, I have a background in the infomercial business. And the infomercials, if you look at an infomercial, it's here's what it does, and then here's 27 people talking about how it changed their life. And if you apply that same strategy to your business, I think you'll see some pretty impactful results. Because what you want is you want videos of business owners whose websites have ranked higher because of your link building strategies. Show them, hey, we were on the 4th page of Google and now we're on the 1st page, and we love the service and this is the result we got. Those are extremely powerful. Whenever we've done heavy testimonial campaigns, we've found a substantial number of people, if you have a video about how does it work, what does it do, testimonials and like technical specifications or something, the testimonial video every time is the one that gets played most. And I've measured response rates anywhere from 17 to 35% conversion rates straight off of testimonial videos that have a call to action tagged at the end. So I would definitely encourage you to look at that as being, don't talk about the service or the product itself. People care about the results of the product, and that's what you should be focusing on.
Awesome, thanks.
Welcome. Next question.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Murphy. I am a publisher. I have a website that's monetized purely on a CPM basis. I work with a lot of the large third-party ad networks, CPX, et cetera, realizing my CPMs are deteriorating and understanding where the market's headed. It's my first time to Affiliate Summit. My question is this. Is there a company that provides consulting for a guy like me? I know nothing about affiliate marketing. You know, I know that I have to start looking that direction. I'm monetizing.
Let me just stop you here.
Yeah.
Everybody, turn and look at the person who just asked the question. If you are
Am
a
I gonna get
consultant
bombarded
or
now?
a company that can help him, see him after the session. You've got that lovely red and white shirt that'll make you easy to spot.
But that's the problem, is that everyone here does this. But I'm looking for somebody. I'm looking for the expert. There's an expert in the room that says, okay, I can look at the demographics of your traffic. I'm going to take a cut, but I know exactly who you need to work with. This company, this company, this company, because we'll do yield optimization, just as I've done for CPM, for display ads, do the exact same thing for affiliate.
What vertical are you in?
Music. So it's 20 to 30-year-old, predominantly male.
We all probably have a name in mind. What I'd like you to do is come up after the session.
Sure.
And maybe we can share some thoughts with you.
Great, thank you.
We can't really endorse any particular company
I understand
right now,
that.
So appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, feel free to come up and we will all hang out after the session and talk with anybody that would like to talk. Last question, and then we're going to be wrapping up.
Okay. Hi, I'm Robert McDaniel with Lead Impact. I have more of a general question. So as you see user time shift more and more to social web versus content web, how do you see affiliate marketing changing or adapting to take more advantage of that?
Great question. Go ahead.
I think the social web, a huge subsection of the activity on there, it amounts to essentially a product endorsement. I think users talking about the experience they've had, the products they've bought, the things they like. The great emergent sites of the social web, Pinterest is a great example, is really about people saying, I like this. And I think affiliate has a huge role to play there. And certainly we've seen evidence already, some of our best customers are in that vein. I think there are new challenges. So for example, a site that is essentially built socially rather than built by an editorial, you aren't going to be able to create 5 advertising relationships and those are the 5 merchants that you do business with. Whoever your users decide to post an image of or a link to or whatever, you're in business with that merchant, and so you'll find the number is thousands rather than half a dozen. Obviously there are software tools companies who can help you out there. I'd love to be one of them. But I think really we see tons of commerce coming out of the social web, and you just need the right tools to capture it.
Can I just add something real quick?
Yep.
Very briefly. For me, social is about the stream, whether it's in Facebook or whether it's in Twitter. We didn't really talk about Twitter as a channel, but there's specific types of advertising that are going to work in the stream, and that's really where I think the future of that channel lies.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just want one small follow-up on that. I mean, have you guys seen anything that indicates leaders or things that you think are the most interesting coming out related in that area?
I think that there's some terrific opportunities in the affiliate sector when you create a reason for people to share. So if the reason to share is that you get some points or you get a discount next time you go shop there, or maybe the reason to share is because the content itself is really rich, then that gets your links to start spreading out socially, and so then you can start thinking about your audiences instead of just being based on who shows up at your site, but thinking about your audiences to who they'll share with. And part of that sounds basic, but
very quickly,
I very often see that we're very focused on our own stuff.
I'll add something just really quickly. I think that, I think you're all of you guys are right. It has to be really, really relevant, and it has to be user-generated. This user-generated content can be leveraged and can be used in some way. That's what Facebook is leveraging user-generated content to make money from advertisers. But on the flip side, actually giving that incentive, like you were talking about, like something like Referly, or these things where like the users are actually making money off of promoting these products because they have the clout to be able to do so. There are also several services that do this on Twitter where actual users can take their clout and their following and make money off of that. Celebrities are doing this a lot. And then now you're seeing sort of organizations come together that manage lots of these celebrities' accounts and monetize, across all of their user-generated content. So yeah, it's like starting to grow and develop, and it's difficult to develop campaigns quickly. You kind of have to understand this like living, breathing thing that's moving. But once you've tested something that works well, I mean, I think the sort of viral ability of it is awesome if you can take hold of it.
That's the last question we can take. We're going to have the lightning round and wrap it up in 30 seconds or less, and we'll start at the end and bring it this way. We'll ask the last question, which is, what is the number one thing we should be prepared for as we move into the future with regard to affiliate marketing?
I believe that number one thing is enriching user experience. Users have dreams about richer experience with their devices and with us. That's what I think the number one thing is user experience enrichment. Thanks, Ben. And Jonathan?
Machines, complex algorithms, lots of data, automation. It's a lot of technology going to be put to bear against this market, and so it's going to be a lot more difficult to succeed against those things. So get with them instead of against them.
Skynet is coming.
That's right. I think I would say in my theme earlier on with the mainstreaming of the industry, I think that as the industry gets sort of bigger and sort of more in the public eye, I think regulatory scrutiny and sort of practices that have flown for the last 10 years are going to stop flying, and I think really we're going to have to learn how to play with the big boys. So Peter and I are both on the board of the Performance Marketing Association. I think a real trade group representing us collectively and our interests and speaking to Washington in the languages they understand is going to be critical. If we haven't already, Peter or myself or someone on the board is probably going to come talk to you about helping to fund the organization, because really people, as we become a target, people are going to want to come after our lunch, and we have to know how to stand up for ourselves and make our needs known.
Take us home.
Absolutely. Well, I want to add to that plug. Definitely support the PMA if you're not already. Get involved. I think, obviously, I'm looking at this from a tracking perspective. So deprecation of cookie tracking, the changes of the types of tracking we can use on mobile, all this stuff is going to shift a lot. You need to understand how tracking works, and you need to be able to do it at scale. So if you don't have that, you can't really determine that you provided the conversion. So stay on top of that stuff.
Great feedback. Thank you all. Let's have a hand for our panel. And this has been the Future of Affiliate Marketing. Thank you for coming, and let's enjoy some lunch now. Thanks, everyone.